This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Today's discussion's a slightly longer form podcast where we're going to discuss 10 thoughts on building a business. We hope you enjoy this talk. We'll have a discussion at the end on a place for giving us feedback, and we'd love to get your feedback. The first concept that we think about in building a business, there's really three concepts I put at the very top of building a business, and those are people and team-centric, customer-centric, and niche-centric. And a lot of these three concepts will overlap with a lot of things that we talk about later on in this discussion and podcast. So the first concept is niche-centric. It is far easier to build a business around a niche and keep on niching down than trying to build a business around the total addressable market, around huge, broad markets. I have a discussion later today with somebody who's building a consumer-facing business versus a business-to-business business. And I always think right away that that's harder than a business-to-business business with a discrete market. I've watched over the last couple of years the development of some of these niche conferences, most recently one called Shoulder 360. And I love this example of just a hardcore niche where somebody's really building around a very, very specific niche versus trying to be broad and being everything to everybody. And that's a great example of niching down from orthopedics to a specific part of orthopedics where you really have a reason for being for a certain number of attendees and engaged participants and potentially for device companies and companies that sell into that market. So this concept of Shoulder 360 to me is a beautiful example of niching down. There's an old Jack Welch concept that you want to be first or second in your niche or not be in it, with the concept that you really win in good times when you dominate a niche and you survive in bad times. So I'm very, very big in this concept of niche-centric and love this example of Shoulder 360 as an example of it. That's not a Becker's Healthcare property or anything else that we're related to. Second, customer-centric. There's this whole concept of, in business, really making sure you wake up trying to make sure you're fitting a need of your customer. You're really doing everything that customer needs to take care of what they need. And then you have to tier your customers. Some of the best examples of tiering customers I've ever seen are people that break their customers into 5 different quintiles. The 20% at the top may be the most profitable or the most revenues. The second 20%, again, the most profitable, most revenues. The third is the third tier of that, then the fourth, then the fifth tier of it. And great disciplined businesses are very good about really focusing on the first 1 or 2 tiers and really almost abandoning the fifth tier and looking at the third and the fourth tier as to can they become A or B type clients or should we be serving them or not? And then the concept is for your core customers, those are the ones that get your best people, the best ideas, the best engineering, the best everything, but very, very much focused on your best customers and understanding who are your best customers that really keep the lights on and really make the business go. The third thing we talk about, and we talk about this often, is every business has to be people and team staff centric. Is you have to build a great team, and you ultimately probably have to tier your team as well to know who your best people are and then do everything you can to support and thrive and grow businesses around your top people and building lots of top people. The best leaders I've seen have a mentality in building teams of they thrive and their people thrive. It's not a top-down type of matrix. It's a thrive culture. It's almost like a Venn diagram. How do I thrive? How do you thrive? And where's the intersection versus I thrive, you don't? And the concept being, if you want to develop people over the long run, it's got to be what we think of as a thrive environment with your people. The fourth thing we think about, and a lot of this comes back to niche-centric, is are you building a product or selling a service that people really need where you could identify the ideal customer for it? There's so much discussed about the ideal customer profile. And this concept of the ideal customer profile, who's your ideal customer for your business, is so important, and you have to spend so much time on it if you want to do this right. You have to be in a spot where you can really identify who's the right customer for us. Like the Shoulder 360 thing is a great example. They know that the perfect customer for Shoulder 360 is a device company that sells shoulder devices. So it becomes very simple. And then they have to know who at the company is making the decisions as to where they spend their market spend. Similarly, they have to know who their target person is in the audience. Is it an orthopedic surgeon who deals with shoulders? I assume it is. Is it a physical therapist that deals with shoulders, or is it a hospital service that deals with shoulders? But really knowing your product market fit and really testing early. We talk often about the concept of companies is you have to be willing to commercialize early, to try and test early whether your product's really needed and trying to identify this ideal customer profile. I just love that concept. The fifth concept, and we talk about this a lot too, is scalability. Is there a spot where there is some scalability in the business where you can develop the systems, the processes, the people, that you're at some spot where revenue starts to come in regardless of adding more people? So the private equity business, when it's going well, is a perfect example of a scalable business. If you take a team of 20 or 50 professionals, then you put literally billions of dollars over that they're going to invest. So it's not a one-to-one ratio where every effort they put in leads to another output. It's rather they could do bigger deals with the same numbers of people. It's why in some ways when the media business is going great, we just love it because it's not like a legal hours business or a consulting business where every hour you put in leads to a revenue. It's rather you've built a big enough platform and then people pay you for access to that platform. And it's not dependent necessarily on a direct correlation with more labor or technology cost. So scalability is very important. The sixth concept we talk about often is clarity of goals. Do you have great clarity about what you're trying to accomplish, who you're trying to serve, what you're trying to build? Without that clarity, you spend so much wasted effort being all over the place versus being terrific. Seventh, and we talk about this often as well, the obsession with greatness and what you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, I'll give you a silly example or a small micro example. We work on a newsletter most days of the week, and we know that when the newsletter goes out and gets a great number of unsubscribes, that somehow we've made the writing not as sharp, not as clean, not as it should, not as good as it should be. That's the obsession with greatness. Got to make the effort to be more concise, sharper, better in whatever you're doing. And it's the same with anything you're doing. And the obsession with greatness, unfortunately, often takes a lot of work and a lot of thought. We use the phrase often grind and think, not just grind, but grind and think. The eighth concept we talk about in building businesses, and this is one bit miscellaneous, but it also comes back to some of the team issues we talked about earlier, is the evolution of the leader and the founder in three phases. And so when I think about founding businesses or watch people found businesses, when they first do so, they're often doing a lot of everything. The old adage is the chief bottle washer, the cook, the busboy, they're everything, or the buswoman. As you grow, we often see this in three phases. The second phase of growth is that you've hired people and they extend you. They're not necessarily better than you, but they extend you. And you could do more, but it's almost like 2x potential scalability or growth. The real magic in business happens when the founder hires people that are far better than the founder, and they start to fill out all the leadership spots. Then you end up in a spot where the business gets better and better, and it's not so dependent upon the founder's own drive, actions, and so forth. It's far better situated when everybody runs departments that the founder used to do. That's the third stage, and when a business can really start to scale and grow and become something much more significant. The ninth concept we talk about, and it goes into team building, it goes into customer centric, is a tremendous focus on gratitude. that you are legitimately and sincerely thankful for your people that are doing great jobs and doing great work, your customers that support you. This can't be false gratitude. It can't be AI-driven gratitude. It's got to be real gratitude that you really love your people and what they're doing and how they're doing it, and you are just so thankful for them. We were in another discussion we'll often do about the 90 percenters. And what I love in leadership is people that do 93% of stuff right. And the leader understands those people are so damn valuable. What I hate in leadership is when the leader or the organization focuses on the 7%, the 10%, the 3%, that those people aren't doing great, and they start to make that the job. So it's immense gratitude and really understanding who your 90 percenters are. The 10th thing we talk about in leadership is this concept of really knowing your own business and your own company. People talk about all this broad reading, this broad strategy, this broad everything. I start everything with, do you know who your most important customers are? Do you know who your most important people are? Do you know where your profits and revenues are coming from? If we could start with those things, those 80-20 rules, where are our best people? Where are our best customers? Where do our profits and revenues come from? We are way, way ahead of the game. In any event, these are 10 of the core rules that we think about for building a business. We hope you find this enjoyable. We have a much longer form of the speech that we do in virtually and in person, but we hope you love this. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast. I would love to, at the end of the day, get your feedback in this talk and hear what you have to say. I'm at 773-766-5322. If you listen to the whole thing, you send me some comments. You're the first person to send them to me at 773-766-5322. I'll send you an Amazon gift certificate. Thank you so much for joining us.